All right, guys, let's try to take a quick look at the Breitling Chronomat 42 millimeter. I have to say big thanks to Richard over at Saltzman's in Rhode Island. I'll put a link in the description down below. Check it out. If you're in the area, definitely check out Saltzman's. Or if you're just looking to buy something online, call them up, tell them I sent you, see if you can negotiate a deal. So, what are we looking at here? Well, we're looking at a fairly expensive chronograph. I mean, for most people, $8,500 is a lot of money, including myself, but you're getting quite a bit here. I mean, Breitling is the brand heritage and everything, and you have a fully in-house, pretty sick movement called the BO1. We'll cover that in a little bit, but let's cover the dimensions and just take a closer look first. So 42 millimeter case, not included the pushers or the crown guard. So it's a 42 by 50 millimeter, and you can see the case shape there. Pretty flat on the bottom part of the mid case, other than the protrusion of the display case back. But that 50 is going to wear pretty small, really, because the end links on the bracelet drop off right away. So you'll see when I put it on my wrist, it works totally fine. Also, the thickness, 15.5 millimeter, but that's including the double dome sapphire crystal with AR coating on top and bottom side, is relatively thin considering it's an automatic chronograph with a date. So typically watches with all those complications are going to be on the thicker side of things. This one, I think, manages it pretty well. 22 millimeter lug width here. You can see the bracelet actually flares out to match the profile of the case. So it's 22 and in between the lugs there, and then it instantly flares out and then tapers back down to 20 millimeter, and then you have a butterfly clasp that is also signed. You have a 7 millimeter bullet grooved style crown, and then of course the pushers. You're going to have 200 meter water resist on this, and with all the links, it weighs 198 grams. Unfortunately, I can't size this up and wear it and everything like that. It's a brand new watch. We're going to keep it brand new. I'm just handling it for the video, and that's it. 120 click, fully polished bezel here. You can see a smudge magnet brushed on the rider tabs, but you're going to be counting on those rider tabs for operating the bezel, but it has pretty, I don't want to say loose tension, but it has a nice level of tension, keeping in mind that you're going to be using those rider tabs. These are smudge magnets. Traditional Breitling, in my opinion, should have quite a bit of polish bits on it. This one definitely does. If we were to peel off some of the stickers here, it's all stickered up. You're going to see a lot of brushing on this one, but the polish up top really pops, and then the way the brushed and polished on the bracelet, it's really going to have a bling factor to it, which is what Breitling is kind of known for, in my opinion. Now, as we zoom in, we'll take a closer look at the dial and then, of course, the movement. But you can see I already have the chronograph hand running, and you have an excellent dial there with the silver toned subdials there. So you have a 30-minute counter over there. You can see I've been running the chronograph for about 4 minutes. And then you have a 12-hour counter there. That's for the chronograph. And then your running seconds is over there at the 9 o'clock. Your date interrupts that 12-hour marker down at the 6 o'clock position. Very cleanly done and a nice legible size. You have a Breitling B Heritage B on the counterweight of the seconds hand that is also red and arrow tipped. Now if we turn this over, I mean, you can obviously see, another highlight of this is obviously the bracelet as well. I've not owned, I think those are called bullet style bracelets. They're not individual pieces. You can see the links are actually, it's like two of them together. Right? Yeah. So it's like two. So when you size it, it'll be like, you're going to take two of them out. But you should be able to get a good size on this. Now we can take a look at the movement. 70-hour power reserve, automatic hand winding. You can hack it. You can see the column wheel there. That's where the if you look at, if we operate the chronograph, you can see it here. I'll try to do it while we're, and then when you snap it back, that resets it. So I'm going to go ahead and start it again. And then we can look at that operation from the front side, but it's kind of cool to see that. Custom rotor. Everything that Breitling does is going to be chronometer grade, COSC. You can see it's proudly noted on the rotor and on the dial, chronometer grade. Just as you would expect with a fairly high-end luxury watch, which is exactly what this is. The movement has 47 joules. That's pretty amazing. And runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour or 4 hertz. So we can stop that. You can hear that nice snap to it, and then instantly snaps back. So if we pop this on wrist, you can see that it looks, wears, feels great on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. There are larger sizes if you have a larger wrist or just prefer a larger watch. This one's going to have a nice weight to it, even if I were to probably remove like a couple links on each side, or like one link on each side is where I would probably land, somewhere in there. This thing is like crazy comfortable on wrist. And there's some very cool, fun colorways with this one and some limited edition options as well. But you'd have to get it on this bracelet. This bracelet is just spectacular. Let's charge this up and kill the lights, and then we will check the lume. There you go. Nice and bright. I mean, I did cheat a little bit and give it a little bit of push, but it is a very bright lume on this thing. And with the subdial, little hands also loomed up is pretty fun. You can actually see the running seconds hand at the 9 o'clock just spinning. So very cool. Again, thanks to Richard at Saltzman's. I'll see you guys in the next video.